Welcome to this new how-to. In this how-to we're going to look at how you can use NDB in combination with a Cirrus SR22. The Cirrus SR22 has its own navigation system based on our Garmin. It's even built by Garmin, but it's different compared to the Cessna 152. So let's go inside the aircraft. So here's the navigation system, right? So you can see everything is, I would say, ready for takeoff. And let me show you the navigation beacon, which is near the airport, which is Dundee Airport. And here you see it. Here it says DND, so Delta November Delta, and that's the one which we would like to use because that's an NDB beacon, as you can see, based on the let's say graphical representation. To get some more information about the NDB channel, we're gonna switch to Little NavMap. Let me do that. So here you can see Little NavMap. So currently we're located at the airport, right? Dundee EGPN, runway 27. You can see here's the University of Dundee playing fields. And then here we've got the DND NDB channel. As you can see, it's also a VOR or a waypoint, not a VOR. And the frequency is 394. So that's the one we need to tune into for to navigate to it. As you can see, it's in the middle of the approach route for ILS runway 09, but that's not what we want to do. What are other things which you can find out? The frequency is already here. Here's the Morse code. The Morse code, you can use it to say validate if you configured the correct NDB channel. Here are the coordinates, the magnetic declination. Then we've got the other information about the waypoint. So it's a little bit the same, right? You can see the type, the region, the magnetic declination, and the coordinates. But for now, we've got enough on the frequency, which is 394. So let's go back to a flight simulator and let's navigate, or let's make sure that we're programming the ADF, because that's the one which we can use for NDB. And you will see the button already appearing at the bottom of the screen. So let's select the button, and now it will ask us, okay, please change the frequency. So for those who didn't pay attention, it was the 394. So we're gonna move, or gonna select it, and then we're gonna turn the wheel, zoom out a bit. So it was 3, so we need to go the other way. As you can see, it's a little bit sensitive. 3. It's a 3. The move on position 9 was correct. And I mentioned 4, right? And one of the things which you can see is that this navigation system also allows, I would say, numbers behind the dot. And if you saw one of my earlier videos about NDB, where we used a Cessna 152, there was no option to define the number behind the dot. But for this one, it's possible, so that's cool. So once we've entered the correct frequency, we press enter, and then it says enter to transfer. What we'll then do, it will make this NDB beacon active. So it will replace the one with 890. So we're gonna do that. And once we've done that, we're okay. So we can move away. DME mode, we can leave it at nav1, and the volume, we can leave it at 100%, so we can use it to validate if we're hearing it correctly. Now, how can you see if you're flying correctly to the NDB channel? Well, that can be done by modifying the PFD, which is this screen. So if we press PFD, you will see that there is an option called bearing 1. If we press bearing 1, you see that it has the option to change multiple things. For example, we can use nav1, we can use nav2, we can use the GPS. But if we press again, we can also use the ADF. As soon as we hit or configure this option, you will see that an additional arrow will I would say, pointing to the direction of the NDB, because we're, as you could see, right, the NDB is pretty close to the airport, so that's all nice. So that's that. So the other thing which we discussed also in previous videos is that you can always, let's say, try to listen into the NDB. And to do that, you need to select the option here. Let me zoom out a bit, because let me do it manually with the mouse. So here you've got the ADF one. And if I'm silent now, you can hear the Morse code. So enough heard, right? So the Morse code can be used again to confirm that you're using the correct NDB. So let's fly to it. Let's hide this other option. So we're going back, and then we're closing the ADF one, and then we're gonna go and fly to it to see how the beacon reacts. So there's some different things, right? In the Cessna 152 you had the option to turn a button to set the bearing. In this case we can't do it. So we're flying to it, we're climbing, reducing the flap size. And as you can see, we're flying straight to it, right? So it's a straight line. So that's all good. So as soon as we passed it, you will, well, you probably already know what will happen. It will start turning, hopefully. See, it starts turning, and now we're flying away from it. So this is how you can use the NDB in the Cirrus SR22. So you can see there's a small difference how to configure it. You can still validate if it's correct by using the radio, and in addition to that, it requires you to know where you can configure, I would say, the visible piece in the PFD, which is also not that hard, right? So I hope you liked this video. If you liked it, then consider to use the like button. If you've got questions or comments, then please feel free to post them below the video. And if you want to stay up to date about new videos I'm posting, then consider subscribing to my channel. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.